OPPO reached out because they wanted us to help promote their new Find N2 Flip. Now, I'm a fan of foldables that flip vertically. I think it makes a lot more sense because you have a full-size phone and then you can make it smaller. So here we have the Z Flip 4 and we're gonna compare it to the Find N2 Flip. Now, I already took this out of the box. You guys see that cool presentation and I did set it up. And I have to say that right out of the get-go, I was impressed. I was showing it off to Angelica. Before I even read the key features about it, I noticed the lack of crease. Now, we've tested many foldables and companies say it's not that noticeable, it disappears, but you always notice it. But with this thing, take a look at that. You literally do not see it at all. Now with the Flip 4, Samsung has improved the crease, but it's still visible even when you're using it with the screen on, compared to the Find N2 Flip where I don't see it at all. And then if you turn off the screen, I mean, you guys see that difference right there. The crease is way deeper and more prominent, where with the Find, you don't even see it. And that is because instead of using a U-shaped hinge, they're using a water drop one, which has a larger bend radius, and that along with their Flexion hinge technology, which combines all the cams, slides, and gears into one using high-strength steel with very fine accuracy, and they tested it up to 400,000 folds. So I think it's pretty cool, and you guys see the end result. Even the hinge here is very smooth instead of being bumpy, and then of course that flat display instead of having the visible bend. Now the next thing that surprised me wasn't the huge display on the front, which did surprise me, but it was the fact that in this box, we still got a charger in the box. We haven't seen this in a while, and this is a Super VOOC charger, so it's gonna be super fast. We have the cable here, where of course with the Z Flip 4, you don't get a charger in the box. So the Find N2 Flip can charge at 44 watts compared to 25 watts. So that means in 30 minutes, instead of charging to 50%, it charges to 62%. And that's with having a larger battery. They packed 4,300 milliamp hours in here compared to 3,700. That's nearly the capacity of the Z Fold 4, which is much larger. And because of that, you do notice that the Z Flip's battery drains faster in real use. Now, screen on time for this thing, how we use it, it's about 5 hours. With this, you'll get about 7 because of larger battery, and the screen's adaptive with this thing. And they somehow did that with a phone that is the same size of the Flip 4. Now here on the sides, we have a button layout that is similar, but the buttons are larger and a little bit more clicky on the OPPO. And the fingerprint sensor on the side sticks out a bit more, so it's easier to find than the recessed one. Now with most foldables, you notice what looks like a screen protector. I already have some dirt on here that's getting stuck, but it is not a screen protector. You don't want to remove that. That is designed to protect this plastic display. But with this OPPO, you don't see that at all because they're using a multi-layered shielded screen that uses UTG glass that is thicker while decreasing the crease, and it increases the impact protection by 300%. So that is a nice improvement. That's something that I noticed right away. Now let's go ahead and flip to the back. Now this display here is massive. Let me turn on the one on the Samsung here. Look at that difference, guys. We have full color right here. Bam, I have my settings that I can turn on. On the Samsung, you have this mini screen. You can get some weather, do a timer, see some alarms, some very basic things. And then for a lot of it, you press it and you gotta open up your phone to actually be able to continue and see my calendar right there. Now with this, I can literally start taking a photo. Watch, let me hit portrait here. Bam. Look, it's telling me flip your phone the other way to get a better angle. All right. I can go through all my settings here. I can pull this down. Let's move over. There's our weather right there. Let's move over right there. Look at that. My timer, I have all these options. I could pull down my settings right here and make adjustments and turn something off really quickly. And then of course I can pull up and have a nice list of notifications. So having this large vertical screen, as you guys could see, is much nicer than having this small horizontal display. You know what? Let's go ahead and compare the cameras, and we'll use the cool selfie mode, which allows you to see yourself using that screen. So you guys can see right there, I can see myself, but it's horizontal. So let's go ahead and take a picture here. And that is what you actually get. So the picture's vertical. I have a bunch of the ceiling in here. And that was one issue with this phone before. Now let's try the OPPO. I'm not even gonna open up to enable that mode because it pops up right away. Let's hit photo here. All right, I see a vertical photo of myself. And let's do a portrait shot. Bam, I can even open it up on here. See the full thing. You got your multi-touch, you can zoom in. That is a much better experience. Now, I know that this video is sponsored by OPPO. They want us to show it off, but even without that, this is a lot better. This is what you'd want to choose. And of course, you can use this folded, and they now have the new feature called waist level framing, so you can enable that right there. So if you're walking around, you want to get some lower angles of your kids, a bug or whatever, you have to get down all the way to ground level to have to do that. You see the image on the bottom portion of the display. Now that main camera is a 50 megapixel compared to a 12. We also have an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and then on the front we have a 32 megapixel camera compared to a 10. Now as far as the UI, we have One UI versus Color OS. And here you guys see the layouts and everything. Both these have high refresh rate displays. And here's the difference in HDR quality. It looks like the OPPO does get brighter. I have both these set to 4K playback, and you guys can see the difference in the colors and in the detail. And now let's go ahead and do a speaker comparison. Alright guys, let us know your thoughts on the sound quality in the comments section below. And now let's compare the performance. The Flip 4 has the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, whereas the Find N2 Flip has the MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus. You guys see the full specs right there. Let's go ahead and run the CPU benchmark. And here are the scores. You guys could see that the MediaTek is actually beating out the Snapdragon processor, both in single core performance and in multi-core performance. So with that said, the Find N2 Flip isn't the first foldable on the market, but comparing all these different aspects, it is definitely the best one on the market. And once again, Vadim and I were just admiring that lack of a crease throughout all of these testings, and the fact that it closes completely flush without having that big gap in there. So if you're looking for a foldable and you're comparing between both of these, I would take the OPPO as a daily driver over the Samsung because of that crease, the design, and obviously that huge screen on the back. Go ahead and check out the links down in the description below. Thank you for subscribing using that button above, checking out those other videos right over there, and thank you to OPPO for partnering with us on this video and promoting this excellent new phone.